Now, Facebook has placed adverts in British newspapers with 10 top tips on how to spot fake news online. The website has also closed thousands of accounts linked to false stories ahead of the general election campaign next month. Now, the company advises users to be skeptical of headlines and to check the website address. Let's talk a little bit more about all this to the social media expert and co-founder of Digital Leadership Associates, Adam Gray. He joins us from our newsroom in Ipswich. Good afternoon, Adam. Thanks for being with us. Does this sound like a good idea, Facebook putting these 10 top tips out there?
I think it does. I think upskilling the users of Facebook to make their own decisions, because the onus and the responsibility for deciding whether something is real or not really has to lie with them, I feel. Having said that, of course, Facebook has just recruited 3,000 additional moderators, as they call them, to ferret out fake news and sites that don't comply with their regulations and close those pages down. Although quite how 3,000 can cope with 2 billion pages is a little bit of an anathema, I think.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, isn't it? The filtering needs to be, surely, before this stuff gets actually on the site itself so that people can read it, because once they do read it, it can be spread in an instant.
Well, it can, and I think that in an ideal world it would be filtered prior to being posted. But as I said, with 2 billion or approaching 2 billion Facebook users, clearly that's a mammoth task and something that no organisation really can do. So really, before one of us presses share or comments to effectively endorse something, it's up to us to make up our own minds. And I think as far as Facebook posting these top 10 tips, I think that's a really good starting point. I don't think that they can get to the point where they actually start to really have much of an impact on it themselves, because the issue, it becomes one of censorship then, doesn't it, as much as anything else?
Yeah, some would argue, cynics would argue, that this again is Facebook passing the buck. Yes, you say, you know, there are hundreds of millions of web pages, so many opportunities to get fake news out there. It would be difficult to police it ahead of time. But is this Facebook again refusing to categorize itself as a publisher, as opposed to simply a platform that people can stick stuff on?
I think it's important that it doesn't categorize itself as a publisher, primarily because the traditional media platforms, I mean, clearly the BBC is at the top end in terms of impartiality, but there are many national papers that sit beneath that in terms of their credibility. And Facebook can't afford to get into that area, I don't think, primarily because Facebook is one of the few bastions where everybody gets a voice. Now, I think that the issue is one of degree. There are clearly some things which are highly inappropriate and should be stomped on immediately. But if you're a Daily Mail reader, then the Mirror seems like fake news and vice versa. So it can be very difficult to understand where that line can be drawn. And I think Facebook abdicating responsibility for that is really a good thing rather than a bad thing. But they do have a duty of care to upskill people so they can make their own minds up about what's true and what's fiction.
All right. Adam Gray, co-founder of Digital Leadership Associates, speaking to us from Ipswich. Thanks for joining us, Adam. Thank you.